Recently, Kendrick Lamar featured on Future and Metro Boomin's track Like That, in which he dissed Drake and J. Cole. Last week, J. Cole released a song called 7 Minute Drill, which was essentially his response. But within a few days of releasing that track, J. Cole made a huge mistake that really harmed his public image. So let's look into it. Also, by the way, my name is Matty Balls, so if you're new here and you like music related content, feel free to stick around because I'm going to post a new video every Sunday at 12 p.m. CST this year, so stick around. Now let's continue. If you're unaware of the situation, it all started on March 22nd of 2024 when Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar released the song Like That. On Kendrick's verse, he took multiple shots at Drake and J. Cole, constantly referencing their collab song First Person Shooter. Kendrick said things like F sneak dissin', First Person Shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches, and Mother F the Big 3, it's just Big Me. Now, most of the disses on this song are targeted at Drake, but he definitely had J. Cole in his crosshairs as well. Lines like, if you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K, were clearly meant for Cole because of his song Stick, where he says, I'll treat a ride through the hood like a hike through the woods, got a stick that I take with me. The main reason Kendrick went after Cole in the first place is because on the song First Person Shooter, J. Cole said things like, a lot of people debating my numeral, not the 3, not the 2, I'm the UNO. He also said, love when they argue the hardest MC, is it K. Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big 3 like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. So basically Cole was saying he felt like the best out of all 3. Like on that last line especially because he directly compares himself to Drake and Kendrick, but then says he feels like Muhammad Ali since Ali's nickname was the greatest. Not only this, but Drake said, who's the GOAT? Like a kid that act bad from January to November, it's just you and Cole, completely excluding Kendrick, which is most likely why Kendrick felt the need to respond. With lines like this from First Person Shooter, lines like, people clicking up but cannot be legit from Kendrick are very clearly shots at both Drake and Cole. But I actually kind of lied earlier because Kendrick and Cole's feud has been going on for a bit longer than just First Person Shooter. I explained the whole situation in my previous video on this subject, so I'll link that down below if you want the whole backstory. But basically, Cole and Kendrick have been sending subliminals at one another for a while. However, something important to note is that J. Cole said that despite how competitive he used to be, lately he's wanted to focus on building relationships with people like Drake and Kendrick rather than competing with them.
Because I think I was so competitive. I don't know how they would feel. You have to talk to them. But I know for myself, I was so competitive early on that, like, even though we were all friends, I would say we were all friends and friendly. Like, I wasn't, I've never been a reach out, you know what I mean? Like, I never been that person, you know what I mean? Especially when there's competition involved, because it's like, nigga, I'm over here doing what I do, you know what I mean? It's almost like working out together. I would, you know, I don't want to be like, damn, we never kicked it, you know what I mean? Like, we never really even did nothing. So like, I'm at that point where it's like, I'm more interested in the genuine relationship than before. I was interested in the competition. Before I was just interested in like putting pressure or responding to pressure. You know what I mean?
But after Kendrick dissed him recently, that pressure was put back on Cole to respond. Everyone was excited to hear some fire new diss songs from Drake, Cole, Kendrick, and everybody else involved. And for a brief moment, that's kind of what they got from J. Cole. On April 5th of 2024, J. Cole released a surprise album called Might Delete Later. Everyone was listening through the album expecting to hear a Kendrick diss, and at the very end of the album, on the last song, there it was. Also, a lot of people have said there's shots throughout the entire album, but the most direct ones came at the end, so that's what I'm going to focus on for this video. On the song 7 Minute Drill, J. Cole sent a few shots back at Kendrick. J. Cole said, I got a phone call, they say that somebody dissing. You want some attention, it come with extensions. Cole starts off clearly addressing Kendrick's Like That verse in the hook, and then digs more into it in the first verse. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. Your first album was classic, your last album was tragic. Your second album put people to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third album was massive and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind and I just now hit mine. Now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic, as soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. On this line, Cole says that Good Kid Mad City was a classic, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was bad, and said that Damn was his prime. But he also said that To Pimp a Butterfly put people to sleep but was gassed, which many people thought was just a straight up lie. That album has extremely high critical acclaim, and many people believe it's Kendrick's best album. A few lines later, Cole said, "He averaged in one hard verse like every 30 months or something. If he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing him." A lot of people weren't a fan of this line either, because Kendrick is known for taking his time with his music, preferring quality over quantity.
I'm like, what is that, like an insult? Like, what? I don't know what diss that is. Like, are you saying that you a loser because you took more time to make more albums, or what?
Cole continued in the second verse to say, "My text flooded with the hunger for a toxic reply. I'm hesitant, I love my brother, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm powered up for real, that would feel like swatting a fly. 4 albums in 12 years, I can divide." He said something here that will be very important soon, that people really wanted him to reply, but on the other hand, he was hesitant because he has love for Kendrick. Obviously, there were more disses throughout the entire song, and debatably even more throughout the album, but this is what really matters and was the most direct. After this track dropped, there was a huge divide in the hip-hop community when it came to the opinion on who was winning the beef. Pro-Cole fans said that Kendrick wasn't even saying anything in his diss, and pro-Kendrick fans said Cole just lied on his diss track when he said things like, "If he wasn't dissing, we wouldn't be discussing him." Another interesting thing to note is that J. Cole was mirroring some of the lines from Jay-Z's Takeover, which was a Nas diss back when they were beefing. However, many people also said that since Nas's response to Takeover was Ether, and they believed that Ether was the best song out of the battle, that Cole was about to get ethered by Kendrick. Basically, both fan bases were extremely divided, and they were arguing and debating over whose diss was better.
But at the end of the goddamn day, I'm taking this over Kendrick Diss. And I'm not even saying that because Kate, I was talking about Drake, nigga. I'm saying that because this motherfucker Kendrick is a little ass nigga. J. Cole diss, wash this nigga diss, bro, easily.
Being boring is like the core criticism you could make of most of J. Cole's catalog. So in a way, this line is kind of projection.
But then something happened that would make it much easier for everybody to take a side. Shortly after releasing his diss track, J. Cole decided to apologize at a live show for what he said.
So I'm so proud of that project, except for one part. It's one part of that shit that make me feel like, man, that's the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life, right? Because I got the world, and I got my niggas like, what you gonna do, Cole? My niggas like, boy, I must have had 1,000 missed calls. Oh my fucking God. Text flooded, I couldn't even answer my shit. Nigga, it's wartime, boom, 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 right? So I felt conflicted because I'm like, bro, I know I don't really feel no way, but the world want to see blood. I don't know if y'all can feel that, but the world want to see blood. So I say all of that to say, in my spirit of trying to like get this music out, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to like jab my nigga back, and I try to keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
So basically, Cole said he didn't mean anything he said on the diss track. He said he loves and respects Kendrick and Drake, and he doesn't want to be dissing them. He's saying that he likes Kendrick's music, so his heart really isn't in it, which was honestly pretty evident on his diss track, and even Anthony Fantano called it in his review.
Why is Cole firing back at Kendrick with this pew 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 like synth trap beat? This does not sound hard, convincing, and even Cole's vocal delivery off the bat in the song is half-hearted and underwhelming. He clearly didn't want to do this.
After Cole apologized, he even said he was going to take the song off of streaming because it was all love. However, what J. Cole probably didn't expect was the crazy amount of backlash he would get online after apologizing to Kendrick. When this happened, pretty much everyone started clowning on J. Cole, and I can't lie, a lot of the memes were pretty funny. They were even comparing J. Cole to Thorfinn and Jogo. It was crazy. But the discourse online, although people were still divided, seemed to go something like this. A lot of people were actually very upset at J. Cole for responding like this. Fellow rapper Mick Jenkins said, "As a rapper's rapper, as a competitor, I am surprised, I am disgusted, I am disappointed. Academics said, J. Cole just gave Kendrick Lamar a bye round in the battle. Kendrick don't even gotta drop another song. WTF is going on? We've never seen this in the history of rap. And while one half of the fandom was very upset, the other half seemed to be very understanding.
And Cole, the reason your Kendrick diss didn't sit right in your spirit was because you knew you was lying, okay? You knew you didn't feel like that about Kendrick's music. You are an artist, a true MC, so there is not too many people who appreciate what Kendrick Lamar does as much as you do.
A handful of J. Cole fans believed that he was taking the high road and were proud of him for doing that. They pointed things out like how J. Cole is nearly 40 years old and probably doesn't feel like dissing people back and forth for no reason, especially when he doesn't feel any type of way about Kendrick. However, there is one thing that understandably caused a few people to be upset with J. Cole apologizing. See, J. Cole is known for claiming that he is the best rapper and that he would slaughter any rapper that steps to him, lyrically speaking, of course. And not just on first-person shooter like I mentioned earlier, but on like pretty much every song he's ever put out. Like on Johnny P's Caddy when he said, "On God, the best rapper alive. Headshot, now go and ask the best rappers that died." Or on Fire Squad when he said, "Ain't no way around it no more, I'm the greatest. A lot of people sat on the throne, I am the latest." Or even on his latest album when he said, "You don't want no smoke with me, I'm one of them ones. Hop on a song with whoever, I ain't ducking no one-on-ones." Or on January 28th back in the day when he directly elevated himself above Kendrick and Drake, saying, "You might be Drizzy Drake or Kendrick Lamar, but check your birth date, you ain't the god, Cole the god." With all of this big talk from Cole throughout his entire career, everyone in the rap community expected him to respond with some heat. He has claimed he is the best rapper on many occasions and said that he could destroy any rapper in a battle of rhymes. But when he was finally challenged by Kendrick Lamar, he backed down.
The biggest flaw in the whole thing is, like, if you're going to call yourself Muhammad Ali and you're going to step into the ring, you can't like throw one jab and then just back out.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you, just because I do feel like J. Cole has been inviting an aggressor for a long time.
The top comment on this video was, "He wanted smoke, hinted at being a higher ranking than K-Dot for years, made a half-assed diss, then folded without K-Dot even responding." Which basically explained the main reason why most people are upset at Cole for this. I think one person summed up the public opinion on the situation best when they said, "Man, on one hand you gotta respect the honesty and sincerity. On the other hand, we all knew it wasn't that deep between Kendrick and Cole, and most of us were just eager to hear some competitive sparring." Regardless of the public opinion or whether or not it was cool to apologize, one thing was for sure, and that was that Kendrick had won the beef. Without a single tweet, post, show, or word from Kendrick since his Like That diss, J. Cole, although not directly, had admitted defeat. Kendrick didn't even have a chance to respond to 7-Minute Drill. Fans were quick to point out all of the rappers that had apologized to Kendrick, saying that he now has another rapper bowing down to him. Those aren't my words, that's just someone off Twitter. But people also pointed out Kendrick's lines on The Heart Part 4, where he said, "My fans can't wait for me to sun ya punk ass and crush ya whole little I'll big pun ya punk ass, you a scared little tiptoeing around my name, you lame, and when I get at you, homie, don't tell me you was just playing." Now, these lines weren't directed at Cole at the time, but they definitely could apply to the situation. And I'm going to toss my opinion in here real quick. I don't think this is nearly as serious as some people think it is. I definitely understand how it's disappointing, but this isn't going to ruin J. Cole's career like some have said. However, there is one thing that is clear, and it's that Kendrick destroyed J. Cole in this brief beef without even saying a word. But there was still one loose end. DJ Academics apparently sent this situation to Drake, and this is what he heard back.
I sent the video of what this nigga did. Said, well, please don't do no shit like this. Please don't apologize. Please don't do no shit like this. And this is the only thing I'll say. Drake blasted me.
There was even a whiteboard backstage at one of Drake's shows that said, "The rap game will never be at peace. There will always be competition. And as long as there's competition, there will never be peace. Everyone wants to be the one." So even though J. Cole has seemingly dropped out of the race, it seems like Drake still intends to get back at Kendrick. Make sure to subscribe and stick around for when that happens. I'll probably talk about it. Bye.